of women in the community. In the Lebanon Valley, the Athena Award has been presented each year since 1990 through the Lebanon Valley Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome Cheryl Bader, the 2017 Athena recipient, to the stage to introduce this year's winner.
So good morning, everyone. Where's Vin? I got a little bit more response than he did. I was away. Good morning.
Good morning.
Love it. So it is my pleasure to ask some special women in this room to rise and be recognized. Our past Athenians in the audience, please stand and be recognized. What an awesome group of people who have certainly contributed to our community. Prior to introducing the 2018 Athena Award recipient, I would like to thank the three nominators that are in the audience. Vicki Ditzler, Todd Snobel, and Mary Ann Bartley for taking the time to submit the nomination. Thank you. So I am going to preface this. I cannot do a good job. I was allotted 2 minutes, and I will do my very best. So most of us are aware, and our organizations most likely have benefited from the generous spirit of Ed and Jeannie Arnold. This morning, we will recognize Jean Donlevy Arnold as the 2018 Athena awardee. I'll quickly introduce her. And I realized quickly after reading the nominations that it would be impossible for me to fully introduce Jeannie and her contributions over a career and volunteer activities spanning 40 plus years. After speaking with her on Saturday, I discovered one only needs to spend 5 minutes with Jean Donlevy Arnold to realize the dedication and commitment she has for the Lebanon Valley and surrounding areas. After graduating from Rhode Island Hospital School of Nursing, Jeannie was building her nursing career. She used compassion, collaboration, inspiration, and vision to develop healthy communities. She embodies these words, whether it was accomplishing her work or her philanthropic activities. She came to the Lebanon Valley after working in Lancaster and Berks counties as a nursing administrator. And it was as Senior Vice President of Patient Care for the Good Samaritan Hospital where she met her husband, Ed, while he was on their board of directors. In each job she had, she was and is a champion for nursing, impacting other nurses by providing educational opportunities, listening to their ideas and feedback, and providing support, encouraging them to strive for excellence in patient care. I would also guess that most of us are not aware of the quiet way, yet with purpose, that Jeannie goes about bringing together people, services, and programs benefiting children, health service organizations, Boy Scouts, college students, the arts, the list goes on. These purposeful activities are exemplified in a program dear to her, Better Together, Lebanon County. Also dear to her is her family, husband Ed, her granddaughters and great-granddaughter all bring her great joy. Jeannie, you are well deserving of this distinguished award. Please help me congratulate her. This is heavy. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have to tell you, I am overwhelmed. I'm sorry. All of people here that have become my friends. It is overwhelming, and I didn't really realize. I didn't even know what the Athena that story, how it is a big deal. It's not only local, and I thank the Chamber of Commerce and Garcia, Garmin and Shea, Garcia, Garmin and Shea. I just am overwhelmed by this, because not only is it a local, but we're national and international. And trying to get my thoughts together, I've been a wreck. Like, what am I going to say? How am I going to say? What should I say? Because of how do you fast forward through things and what helped to develop you in your life. And I really sincerely want to thank my dear friends, Vicki Jitzer, Todd Snell, and Mary Ann for nominating me. And all of you that wrote letters. Vicki shared with me letters of support that were sent to her, and they are really beautiful, and I will treasure them all my life. I've been kind of overwhelmed lately because Ed and I were blessed on October 25th, and she was 6 weeks early. I think she just wanted to be here for Christmas, a great-granddaughter whose name is Everly. And so I'm trying to write my speech, and my granddaughter calls me and says, "Do you want to see Everly?" Oh my God, you know, of course. So anyway, I just want to share with you a little bit about me. I am wearing a name tag here that is over 110 years old, and it is my grandfather. My grandfather lived in Chicago, and he worked for Swift & Company. And this morning, as I was getting ready, I saw this, and I said, you know what? He was the only grandparent I knew, and I'm going to take him with me today. I want to thank, as I said, everyone that wrote the letters, and I know I have a short amount of time, but I just want all of you to know how dear this is to me. There are many people that have helped me in my life, and I am so appreciative, because none of us can do things alone, and this community is a testament to that. And Troy, your message was beautiful. We are blessed living here in the Lebanon community. I grew up in a very, very small town in Rhode Island. It was Forster, Rhode Island. I don't know if any of you know about it. People usually don't. But the only thing that was there were two Baptist churches that couldn't get along, and a fire department. That was it. My parents both had very traumatic childhoods. Her mother died when she was 2 years old in a fire, and my father, he lost his mother too. And my dad was a chief petty officer in World War II in the Navy, and he was aboard the USS Ticonderoga that was kamikaze by two Japanese fighter planes. My parents, I think because of their childhood, and now I recognize that some of this with my dad, was post-traumatic stress disorder way back then. And my father was a nervous man. He was a good man. Both of my parents were very hardworking, but I never wanted to do anything to upset my father. And he would demand that I get straight A's, and if I didn't, they'd be held to pay. I remember one evening, I'm sorry, I just have to share this because it was a little traumatic for me, when he was screaming at me because I got a B+, and my mother threw a baked potato at him. And then he picked up a coffee cup and broke it. I mean, that's the trauma. But anyway, my mother worked for a doctor, and my dad worked for a printing company that actually did Southern Baptist printing. And I used to work in the summer and go and collate the pictures. And that's how it was back then. But I always wanted to be a nurse. That was something, in those days, women had a choice of 3 professions. I'm old, and it was either you were a nurse, you were a teacher, or you were a secretary. And so I went to Rhode Island Hospital, where I became a nurse. And it really, I would never ever regret what I had done with that. I worked at every level in nursing. And when I came to Pennsylvania, my administrative career took off. And there were many women that helped me, and men too. And I remember very well a physician that I've talked about that was intimidating, Dr. Richard Mann, who at one point told me I was, incompetent. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I said, I don't know if I should tell this, but I said, Dr. Mann, he said, you'll get used to me. And I said, well, I had a baby and I got hemorrhoids and I got used to them. But when I said that to him, the next day he went down to the director of nursing. Now then we wore the white caps, the white uniform, the white stockings, the white shoes. And he went down to Ruth Todd, who was the director of nursing at Lancaster General, and asked her to make me the head nurse of the coronary care unit. We became really, really good buddies. So Ruth Todd called me down to her office, and she said, well, kiddo, I guess we're going to give you a go. And that's how my career in administration started. And one of my goals was always to work as a staff nurse in other places so that I could relate to my nurses. And from there, I went to St. Joe's and then Ephrata, which was wonderful. And then one day, I received a call from the president of the Good Samaritan Hospital to be interviewed for the senior vice president of nursing. And that was my introduction to this wonderful community in Lebanon, and has been so satisfying. I never thought I'd live in Lebanon. I can tell you that. I lived in Lancaster at the time. Well, there's something to be said about the chairman of the board, who was Mr. Ed Arnold. And I have to tell you, I really didn't like him. I mean, he would challenge everything that was going on. But one day he called me and said, Jeannie, would you like to go play golf? No, I didn't know it was going to be a date. I wasn't going to go into that, but you know, I really didn't. But I have to tell you, I love him as my husband. Who would have, he's helped me through difficult times that I've had. And who would have thought that I'd be married to Ed Arnold, coming from such a small community and also marrying this man. The hospital did a community assessment in 1996, and this was before it was mandated through the IRS, which it is now, that hospitals do a community assessment. From this assessment results, I was actually given the responsibility of working with community agencies and setting up different committees. And that over time, we were looking at health, senior health, the youth, teenage pregnancy. Vicki Deloach was my administrative assistant, and putting together different committees to meet on what some of our issues were. And that rolled up into the Lebanon Community Health Council, which is still in existence today. So I retired from the hospital in 1998 and married Ed. I can't call that really a retirement. I had a huge learning curve when I married Ed. The man who wanted to travel, enjoy the arts, music, opened up my world, a world that I never expected that I would have an opportunity. But the most beautiful part of my husband is his generous nature. Even though sometimes it's hard to get there, he is a wonderful man. And this is when I learned what philanthropy was about. I also want you to know I did run a little business here. I had a yarn shop many years ago after I retired. That didn't work out for me, but I did, so I did have a little business. But through Ed and what his involvement is with the Boy Scouts, I was asked to be on the National Board of the Boy Scouts of America. And at that time, I was the only woman. Now there are two of us. Some things do take time. But Dr. Robert Gates, who is our retired Secretary of Defense at the time when I joined, asked me to lead a project on the prevention of childhood obesity for the Boy Scouts. And we basically started this project. I went around to different agencies in the community to see what we were doing about obesity. And we actually started the Dutch Council at the summer camps, changing the diet, changing activity, having healthy snacks. And now that work has extended and affected over 29 camps across the United States. At this point, close to over 70,000 kids. And from that, we have bedded together Lebanon, because part of what I felt is you just can't do things for the Boy Scouts. It's got to go further than that. And so with the help, and I can't name all the organizations, but so many organizations working together right now to try to make things better, use our resources, be efficient. And it has been amazing. And that's what Cheryl referred to when she said, bedded together Lebanon. And one of the quotes that I always think about reminds me of Disney, that if you can dream it, you can do it. And my dream is that we continue to work together to really make this community. We just don't realize what a gem we do have. There are such wonderful people here, and we all need to surround ourselves with those positive people that can help us overcome the negativity that we do have. Athena was the goddess of Greek mythology, known for her strength, courage, wisdom, and enlightenment. And ancient Greeks believed the tears of Zeus formed crystals when they landed on the earth. One of them was the opal, a stone of foresight and insight. Greeks called it the precious stone. It is the stone of Athena. The Saturday after I was told, they brought me into Lebanon Family Health Services for something else, but I found out I'd won the Athena one. And I went to Litz jewelry store to pick up some jewelry that needed to be repaired. Mr. Litzel greeted me and congratulated me on the honor, and that's when I thought, oh my God, this is a big deal. I didn't realize it was Small Business Shopping Day, and of course, I had to look around the store. You know, I was picking my jewelry up, but I found a beautiful ring. Here it is. I decided it would be my Christmas present from Ed. But this is what is so unbelievable. When they were ringing up my purchase, Allison told me, I'm not making this up, that this ring was an opal and it was named Athena. I have the certificate if you need it. I mean, and I thought, I'm sorry, Ed, it was a sign. So anyway, in closing, I want to thank you all for this prestigious award, and now I am an Athena sibling. Thank you.